Peace, family. How you all doing? My name is Keisha. I am the owner of A Way of Life, and I am your astrology coach. I wanted to do a really quick video on the Mercury and Libra and Jupiter and Aries opposition that perfected on the 1st and the 2nd of this month. We'll be feeling this for the next 6 weeks. I think with the Pisces full moon, it's going to expand this energy, as well as the Mercury retrograde, and we are currently in eclipse season. So I thought it was important to do this video because even though it's perfecting on the 1st and the 2nd, we are most definitely going to be working on these themes throughout the next, I say, few months, to be honest with you. All right. So Jupiter and Aries is about, this could be like a big will and motivation to start something or take action towards something. You know, it could be a little egoic. It's Aries, impatient and not like well thought out. And it can be around Jupiterian themes. This is spirituality, beliefs, morals, ethics, law, and opinions about those types of things, education even as well. And then you have Mercury that can be very talkative, the objective thinker, fairness, to come up with solutions to resolve things and bring peace. Then that's both putting Mercury and Libra themes together, right? And when they're in opposition to each other, they're not seeing eye to eye. This could be feeling frustrated, that we have to choose between the other when we actually really don't have to choose, because nothing is really balanced, you know, and maybe one thing is needed at this time. Maybe some people are more in the Jupiter and Aries energy, but at another time, the Mercury and Libra energy is more relevant. Another way this can be showing up is that the Mercury and Libra energy is more relevant for something completely different to the Jupiter and Aries stuff. And so you're using both or seeing how both are relevant in that kind of sense. So it really depends on where you're at, what you got going on in your life. Everybody's going to have this coming up in many different ways. But I think the most important thing to remember is that you don't have to choose, but you might have to hold space for the frustration of feeling that way, right? Because that's what oppositions do. They kind of make you, or put you in positions to make you feel like you have to choose one or the other. And that's the challenge with this transit. So I put down 3 different ways that this can show up. Well, meanwhile, I promise you I could talk about this subject forever. But this could be like bullies and diplomats. The way I was viewing this is that the way politicians kind of diplomatically get up there and tell us they're going to do one thing for us. Meanwhile, we're being bullied into doing something else. It's just done in a very diplomatic way, you know. I think another thing that really came up very strongly for me is that Libra is the feminine energy and Aries is the Mars energy. This is undoubtedly going to have to do with relationships. You make no mistake about it. And so I was listening to, I think his name is Anthony O'Neill and Tony Gaskins. They're both relationship coaches, having a very interesting conversation about all kinds of things. But the one thing that stood out the most, that kind of reminded me of how this transit can be playing out for people, is like, say that there's one person in the relationship who makes more money, and the one who makes more money feels that kind of Jupiter and Aries, egoic, strength, strong, nature to want to say, but I pay for everything in this house, what do you do? When you might have a more feminine female energy who might not be able to foot the bill or put as much in, but she's doing other things like taking care of the kids or the dumb, stupid, mundane responsibilities around the house, like cooking and cleaning, and when the kids get sick, and but those aren't or might not seem as though they are as much as somebody paying the bills because they have to go out and work for it, or it's hard labor, whereas those other mundane things are like everybody, those things are admissible, right, in a sense, but they're really not, right? And so in this way, again, people are going to have strength to find peace within the responsibilities of the roles in the relationship or the expectations of what's being asked to be done, depending on who has to do what, and things of that nature that can be really hard and difficult and challenging when somebody feels superior than the other. The second thing is revisiting an old conflict. Remember to hold space if you have to negotiate or compromise with things you don't see eye to eye on, because this can get really ugly. Maybe even to the point where people leave because of the strain or the pressure that they might feel from having to hold space or make a decision or choose or not choose. I think another really good thing to think about when with this energy is, because it's Mercury, I always think of the Joker. I got these crazy ideas on how astrology shows up, right? And Mercury is that very Joker character who would be honest enough or courageous enough, or outspoken enough to say, yes, I was the one who left the milk out with the cereal because I didn't fucking feel like doing it. And that might sound harsh and like very direct and straightforward and not emotionally well thought through, but there's something to that has the ability to kind of hold space or allow someone to hold space for the honesty within that. Like, I'm tired. I just got home from work. All I wanted to do was eat, but I didn't feel like doing all the other stuff that came with it, like cleaning my bowl and putting it back where I got it from. Is it right? No. Inconsiderate? Yep. But I think when you do that, when you're honest in that way, it's harder for someone to kind of argue. Like, how many times have I fucking felt that way? Now, maybe you might have been the person who put it away, but you definitely probably didn't feel like doing that, right? And so, being able to have that kind of attitude in times like this can really diffuse the ability to want to fight something, because there's a side of you that really relates to that I don't give a fuck attitude, right? Because how many times have we all kind of felt that way, right? Another thing is like big, strong, aggravated thoughts, words, and ideas, like grandstanding, about how your idea is the biggest, the best, how your beliefs are better, your morals and ethics are righteous. This is very self-righteous, very judgmental. I always think of people who are in church, how they have this very self-righteous attitude that because they get up and go to church every Sunday, that even though the shit that they roll around in while they're not in church still makes them better people. Right? And so I think we could see a lot of grandizing around these types of themes: religion, spirituality, my philosophy is better. Is there a better philosophy? Even like reviewing and judging, assessing, these different kinds of ideologies and beliefs and philosophies and things of that nature. I think we might see a lot of this kind of talk coming up on social media for sure, but in general, it could be in your home, in your family life, or whatever, coming up at this time that makes people kind of feel very sophisticated with Mercury and Libra, right? Very diplomatically sophisticated to have this way of thinking that makes it better. And then Aries is that kind of egoish, judgmental, narrow-mindedness, like there's no other way to do something, or sit down somewhere. This could also be like unreasonable expectations put on you to test you. That may result in, again, somebody leaving a situation or not making a decision at all. Stalling something, causing blocks and blockages with that retrograde that's coming up. So be mindful of that. Be willing and ready to deal with that. Stand your ground. Stay grounded. The 3 takeaways I put is agree to disagree, right? Not everybody is the same, and not everybody's in the same place. So you can hear somebody's thoughts and be like, I disagree. But the reason you may disagree is because you ain't there yet. You haven't been to that part yet. But I can almost guarantee that these are situations where down the line you might come back to this and revisit this and be like, now that you're in that position, now you can agree type of energy. And if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. And even if you don't make a choice, you're still choosing. Keep those things in mind. There is no right or wrong way. We all are being tested here. You better believe it. These are tests to see where you're at so you can see where you're at. And it's not about being right or wrong. Again, it's just knowing you. It's more opportunities to learn yourself. And the people who are in the higher vibrations of this energy are undoubtedly going to get the best results from this. If the people who can work through this, again, it's not about having answers, but just, again, agreeing or disagreeing, but still being able to be cordial. So either way, I actually am kind of looking forward to this. I hope this information was helpful. Peace.